looks like in the Sultanate in our weather update.
This is Maitha Chikeli with today's weather update, and right now I'm reporting from inside the TFM studio in Al Khuir. Before we move on to weather, here is our fact for the day. The solar storm in 1859 was so powerful that the telegraphs continued to operate after being disconnected. That is our fact for the day, and now let's take a look at how the weather will be like in the Sultanate. An alert has been issued by Oman Meteorology and Civil Aviation authorities saying that there will be poor visibility due to the fog formation. There will be mainly clear skies in the rest of the Sultanate with rising temperatures, and there will be clear to partly cloudy skies along the coastal areas of the Far and adjoining mountains. There's also chances of dust rising winds over the desert and open areas. And now let's take a look at how the weather will be like in all the governorates. Muscat will be sunny, temperatures between 39 to 28 degrees Celsius. Musandam will be sunny, temperatures between 45 to 33 degrees Celsius. North Al-Batana will be partly cloudy, temperatures between 35 to 30 degrees Celsius. South Al-Batana will be partly cloudy, temperatures between 40 to 28 degrees Celsius. Al-Buraimi will have a sandstorm, temperatures between 47 to 33 degrees Celsius. Al-Dhahira will be partly cloudy, temperatures between 46 to 33 degrees Celsius. Al-Dakhiliya will be partly cloudy, temperatures between 43 to 30 degrees Celsius. North Al-Sharqiyya will be partly cloudy, temperatures between 44 to 28 degrees Celsius. South Al-Sharqiyya will be sunny, temperatures between 38 to 28 degrees Celsius. Al-Wusta will experience sandstorm, temperatures between 44 to 28 degrees Celsius. Dhafar will be rainy, temperatures between 27 to 21 degrees Celsius.
Welcome back to TTV Watching Midday Update. Now, before we get into the details of the local stories for the day, let's see how the COVID-19 situation looks like in the Sultanate. The Ministry of Health has announced the registration of 41 new death cases due to coronavirus in Oman today. This, in fact, is the record-breaking number for a single death cases in the Sultanate so far. With this number, the total deaths in the Sultanate have reached to 2,782. The health officials have also extended their deepest condolences to the families of the deceased. Moreover, the Ministry of Health has also announced the registration of 2,037 new cases of coronavirus in Oman today. The total cases in the country have now touched 252,609, including 221,250 recoveries as well as 2,782 deaths. In the last 24 hours, the ministry has also recovered 1,079 patients from COVID-19. The ministry has urged everyone to adhere to social distancing instructions issued by the Supreme Committee and the Ministry of Health. And now from a local desk. The COVID-19 situation currently in the Sultanate of Oman is more dangerous than it has ever been since the start of the pandemic, a specialist in infectious disease has said. As many as 2,037 more people tested positive for the coronavirus in Oman as of today, in addition to 41 new deaths. There are currently 1,517 people in hospital, among whom 443 are intensive care, with 209 recently admitted in 24 hours. COVID-19 patients are occupying all of the beds assigned to intensive care units, which reflects the seriousness of the pandemic in the country, said Dr. Zakaria Al-Balushi, an infectious diseases consultant at the Royal Hospital. He said that there are people in critical condition in the COVID-19 wards at the Royal Hospital and they need urgent health care similar to the treatment provided to people in ICUs. These patients need large amounts of oxygen. This is not just the case in our hospital, but also in health centers all over the Sultanate. The COVID-19 is currently more dangerous than it has been during previous waves. He also added that although more beds were being assigned to COVID patients, making the necessary arrangements to expand their intensive care units are not easy. He said that we received the largest numbers of patients in intensive care and currently have about 70 beds in the ICUs. We are trying to increase the number of beds. Unfortunately, what is certain is that in the coming days, the numbers will continue to increase further and more patients will require admittance into intensive care. The Supreme Committee has taken the decision to impose a night movement ban, but it will take some time for us to see its effects on the ground. He lastly added that the current wave had made doctors lose the ability to predict the fate of any COVID-19 patient who has not been previously admitted to intensive care. People in the Sultanate who have been infected with coronavirus and haven't completed 6 months since the infection are allowed to take only 1 dose of the vaccine, the Ministry of Health has said. According to the statement issued by the Ministry of Health this morning, if a person is infected with COVID-19 and 6 months or more have passed since the infection, 2 doses of the vaccine should be taken. And if less than 6 months since the infection, only 1 dose should be taken. Ministry of Health added that when a person wishes to travel before 6 months have passed since the infection, 2 doses of the vaccine can be taken, provided that the proof of the travel destination's request is presented. Unfortunately, 2 pregnant women suffering from COVID-19 has also passed away at Khawla Hospital. The hospital currently has 37 COVID-19 patients in ICU. Dr. Adil bin Suleiman Al-Kharousi, head of the intensive care department at Khawla Hospital, said to Oman TV, "Currently, we are facing a spike in COVID-19 cases. We are trying to keep things under control by providing extra beds, medical services, medication, and equipment." Shamsa Abdullah Al-Sharji, a nurse at Khawla Hospital, also spoke to Oman TV, and she said that we had 2 cases of pregnant women with COVID-19, which resulted in the death of both patients, including the fetus. She added that to tell their families was very difficult as it was shocking and they were unable to accept the news. It's time for a quick commercial break, but stay tuned as we have more updates from our local news your way. Welcome back to TTV. You're watching Midday Update. Continuing with the rest of the stories from our local desk. Gyms, health clubs, and spas in Muscat have to follow a revised set of guidelines issued by the municipality. Masseurs must remember to pour massage oil into separate cups for different customers and must wear disposable uniforms that need to be thrown away as soon as they have finished providing service to a client. Both bamboo massages and hot stone massages are to be avoided until further notice. Customers who wish to use the jacuzzi facilities inside gyms and health clubs must make prior appointments, which should be made keeping in mind the number of people who can use the tub while still being able to socially distance. Tubs must be cleaned and disinfected before being made available to the public at the start of the day. Furthermore, the water in the jacuzzis must be changed after each use, and the staff at the facility needs to make sure that the ventilation system works well. Similar measures, where applicable, also need to be taken for saunas. Health clubs cannot offer cosmetic practices that penetrate skin, facial steaming or massaging, or a Moroccan bath and its equivalent. Home services are also currently banned. The Agriculture and Fisheries Development Fund completed the final stage of the project to establish artificial reefs in Musandam Governorate. A statement issued online by the Agricultural and Fisheries Development Fund said the final stage of the project to establish artificial reefs in Musandam Governorate was completed, which was landing 4 units of artificial reef molds in the sea of the Vilayat of Dibba in the locations that were previously identified and coordinated with all relevant authorities in the Vilayat. The molds of the artificial reefs will be a habitat for fish to live and breed, thus making it a rich fishing site. This was all from our local desk for the day. It's time for a quick commercial break, but stay tuned for more updates from our sports desk. International desk. Welcome back to TTV. You're watching Midday Update. And now from our international desk. The United Nations verified at least 26,425 grave violations against children in armed conflict during 2020, including instances of killing, recruitment, and sexual violence, a report by the U.S. Secretary General Antonio Guterres revealed on Monday. According to the report, he said that in 2020, the situation of children in armed conflict was marked by a sustained high number of grave violations. The United Nations verified 26,425 grave violations, of which 23,946 were committed in 2020 and 2,479 were committed earlier but verified only in 2020. According to the report, the highest number of violations was the recruitment of some 8,521 children, the killing of 2,674, and maiming of 5,748 children, as well as over 4,000 incidents of humanitarian access denial. The Democratic Republic of the Congo, Afghanistan, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen had seen the highest numbers of grave violations against children. The World Bank is ready to finance Ghana's further COVID-19 vaccine rollout, the bank's country director for Ghana, Pierre Laporte, said on Monday. Briefing the media on the stage of the bank's support to the West African country to overcome the pandemic, Laporte said the bank had already approved $130 million to support the vaccine program. He said the bank would like to provide vaccines for 13 million Ghanaians, which will boost the country's efforts to combat the pandemic and enhance its economic recovery. He also stressed the availability of the vaccines to Ghanaians still depends on the Ghanaian government's ability to secure the vaccines from international sources. The sooner the vaccines are made available, the better, but that depends entirely on how fast the government can source the vaccines. On our part, we have put the money on the table, added the World Bank official. The United States has recently announced the distribution list of 55 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines out of 80 million promised that will be allocated till June end to contribute in the global fight against the pandemic. Approximately 14 million doses of vaccine for Latin America and the Caribbean to the following: Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, Peru, Ecuador, Paraguay, Bolivia, Uruguay, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Haiti, and other Caribbean community countries, Dominican Republic, Panama, and Costa Rica. Nearly 16 million vaccine doses for Asia to countries including India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, Maldives, Bhutan, Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, Laos, Taiwan, Cambodia, and the Pacific Islands. Approximately 10 million doses of vaccine for Africa to be shared with countries that will be selected in coordination with the African Union. Lastly, 14 million vaccine doses will be shared with regional priorities and other recipients such as Colombia, Argentina, Haiti, other Caribbean countries, Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, Panama, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, Cabo Verde, Egypt, Jordan, Iraq, Yemen, Tunisia, Oman, West Bank and Gaza, Ukraine, Kosovo, Georgia, Moldova, and lastly, Bosnia. Earlier this month, the US had announced the donation of 25 million COVID-19 vaccines globally to address potential surges and the needs of the most vulnerable countries affected by the pandemic, including India. Once again, it's time for a quick commercial break, but stay tuned for more updates from our sports desk. Welcome back to TTV. You're watching Midday Update. And now from a sports desk. Oman's football team must put in a stronger performances at the 2021 Arab Cup now that they have secured qualification for the tournament, says head coach Branko Ivankovic. He said that during the next stage of the tournament, we expect the players to be more prepared after the rest they now have. The most prominent issue we need to keep in mind is that our ambition is not to just participate at a tournament like this. We need to prepare for the tough matches that are ahead of us. Of course, however, the most prominent thing right now is the win we secured against the Somalis, and I'm very happy with our performance, particularly during the first half. The 2021 Arab Cup is currently being held in the Qatari capital Doha and features 16 teams across 4 groups. The Arab teams that occupy the top 9 global FIFA rankings are guaranteed automatic qualification to the tournament, while the 14 teams ranked below them enter the playoff rounds to book their places in the group stage. Oman, as the top-ranked side among those in the playoffs, was pitted against Somalia, who were placed lowest. With this news, we have come to the end of the episode for today, but stay tuned as we'll be back again tomorrow with more updates and latest news your way. Keep watching TTV.
You've just heard the live feed from the TTV studios on TFM 95.4. Let's talk.